Good morning, everyone. HeeVee here. Ethereum continues its rally in the days leading up to the listing of Ethereum Futures on the CME, and the meme stock frenzy holds steady. Today I will be talking about the great news in the cryptocurrency markets, as well as continuing coverage of the meme stock frenzy of 2021. Thank you for joining me in another episode of Cold Plunge every day until Bitcoin 50K. The current temperature right now is 46 degrees Fahrenheit, and Bitcoin Bob here tells us that the pool temperatures dropped down to 48. Crypto Cold Plunge, day 17. Whew, yep, back in my element, back in one of my favorite spots, the cold water. It's a good day today. Any day that I wake up and have my basic needs met is a good day. I know I've touched on that before, but I just wanted to reiterate it because I think it's important to reiterate it as often as possible. Just being thankful. When jumping into cold water, one important thing to remember is that you need to keep your breath under control. A lot of people, when they jump in, they start breathing really hard, they panic, they freak out, their adrenaline gets going a little bit, and that will make the process actually worse, the process of acclimating to the cold. What you need to do is when you jump in, first thing you need to do is tell your body it's okay. Let the body do what the body's capable of doing. Then you get your breathing under control. Once you get your breathing under control, everything else will follow suit. The heart rate will drop down and your mind will calm down. The adrenaline rush will subside a little bit and you will be able to better handle the cold. It is an uncomfortable and slightly painful sensation, but once you learn to deal with it, then it can become quite pleasurable and you can really like it. When I first started doing the cold plunge, I would always walk into the pool. So I'd slowly immerse myself down into the water. Now I've started to jump in. And when I first started to jump in, it was really painful and it was really uncomfortable, something that I dreaded doing. But now that I've gotten better at it and I have developed the tricks, I've learned the tricks and developed a routine for how to handle those first 10 seconds of acute discomfort. Now I really like it and I actually prefer the plunge rather than walking in. I mean, really all it is 10 seconds of acute discomfort and then you can really deal with it and it's not nearly as bad. I think that's a good metaphor for just life in general. It's a short period of acute discomfort followed by more dull discomfort, followed by pleasure and preference of the discomfort. The uncomfortable becomes comfortable. In my personal life, I've noticed things that are comfortable up front eventually become uncomfortable, and things that are uncomfortable up front eventually become comfortable. A good example of this would be if you're a couch potato, it's very comfortable in the short term. You're literally just sitting on the couch, comfortable, temperature is probably good, you're watching TV, you're relaxed. In the long term, that becomes uncomfortable because you start to think about all the other things that you could be doing and all the other things that you have potential to be doing and all the other things that you wish that you were doing. And suddenly you start to get the feeling, maybe not suddenly, maybe over time, you start to get the feeling that you've been wasting your time and that you only get one life and you might have wasted a lot of that life sitting on the couch being comfortable. Conversely, if you are uncomfortable and you do something like you start a business or you go to the gym or you go in the cold water or you do something that generally you don't want to do at first, after a while, once you become accustomed to doing that and you become comfortable doing that thing, then you're really glad that you did it and you say, wow, I'm glad I put up the work up front because now I have this great thing and I feel satisfied. So to reiterate, uncomfortable in the short term becomes comfortable in the long term, and comfortable in the short term becomes uncomfortable in the long term. Remember that, because now it's time for our daily underwater meditation. All right, well, the rest of the day is downhill from here because the hardest and most uncomfortable part is already done. And my favorite part of the day. So we're now sitting at close to 8 minutes on the clip. Been one of the longer ice baths today. So I think it's time to go check out the news and some charts. Let's get straight into the news as we have a lot to talk about today. The first thing I want to touch on is the Ethereum Rally. If you've been following this for the last few days, this has been one of the biggest stories on our docket. And we can see that it continued through yesterday, and it's just been a tremendous rally. I mean, we have absolutely blown out the recent all-time high, and new price discovery has just been one after another, new all-time highs. See, we're currently sitting at $1,638 per coin. Last night we topped out at $16.99. It couldn't quite hit $1,700 per coin, unfortunately. So we know that is our major resistance in Ethereum. This is on the daily chart. If we zoom all the way out to back to 2017, we can see just how big this recent rally is. I mean, really, the rally over the last month has been incredible. See, back in 2017, 2018, we hit a high of $14.20 per coin and dropped back down. We reached a low of $92 per coin in the second week of March. Ever since then, it's just been ripping higher, just ripping. And then we can see just how significant historically that line was when it finally broke through it, and it just hammered it. This has been a huge rally, one of the biggest I've seen in a while in the cryptos. So let's try to nail down what exactly is behind it. As I mentioned in the opening monologue, Ethereum will be launching on the Chicago Mercantile Exchange next week. The Chicago Mercantile Exchange is the largest options and futures marketplace in the world. So for Ethereum Futures to be trading on this is pretty significant. Today is February 4th, and we can see that it will be launching on February 8th. That'll be Monday. Here are some contract specifications for how the CME will be selling and trading. We can see Ethereum's market cap currently sits at about $186.8 billion when it is $1,634 per coin. And if we scroll down, we can see that people are feeling quite excited about Ethereum. Lark Davis says $2,000 Ethereum coming quite soon. I would definitely like to see that. Another catalyst that could have added to the breakout is the Grayscale Ethereum Trust reopening. So we can see 4 days ago, the trust reopened. Ethereum broke 1,500. It's now up to almost 1,700. And just a couple interesting facts about Ethereum real quick since we've got it. On-chain transactional activity back to January 2018 numbers. 52.38 million addresses holding Ethereum. That's an all-time high. That's pretty incredible. So the Crypto Lark says Ethereum pumping 2 weeks before Galaxy Digital Ethereum funds open. If you bought before today, which was February 2nd, so that'd be about 2 days ago, then you beat most institutions to the punch. Congratulations. Because about 3 days ago, it was trading down at $1,290 a coin. Now it's up to almost $1,700, which represents roughly a 30% gain in about 3 days. Pretty incredible, and congratulations to everybody that bought. And since we mentioned Grayscale, I think it's interesting to look at how many coins Grayscale actually owns. In this little table here, we can see that Grayscale owns 649,000 Bitcoin, worth an estimated $23.27 billion, and they own 2.96 million Ethereum, worth $4.5 billion. So Bitcoin has also had a great 72 hours. We can see it's been steadily climbing up on a nice little staircase. It met some local resistance at about the 38,500 level. It couldn't push through that last night, and it's come back down to about 37.5 now. But we're moving sideways in a pretty nice little pennant. So hopefully we can kind of consolidate and then keep the rally going. Continuing with our cryptocurrency coverage, we had Elon Musk tweeting about Dogecoin again. You can see overnight he tweeted one word, Doge, classic Elon Musk. And then he tweeted out this picture, which is possibly one of the best things I've ever seen. He says, "You're welcome." And then he follows up with Dogecoin is the people's crypto. Almost immediately after, we see Dogecoin put up a nice big rally. And Dogecoin is currently sitting up 40% in the last 24 hours. And finally, we will finish off with our continuing coverage of the meme stock craziness of 2021. Here we have the chart of GameStop. You can see over the last 48 hours, the price action has actually been quite flat. I mean, look at the size of those candles compared to the previous few days. Volume is also somewhat lower. One could possibly argue that GameStop has held the line above $90 because they closed at about $90 yesterday, and today they're trading up about 2.5% at $92.40 pre-market. But this isn't as big of a drop as some people had predicted. They had said it was going to be $20 within a couple days. It's back to $90. We'll see how long it takes for it to get back to $20. It would be interesting to see if it developed a new floor somewhere around like 60 or maybe even $90. As Meet Kevin said, we reached peak media last week. The number of people joining Wall Street Bets per day has decreased substantially. It's leveled off at around 8.7 million people, which if you remember about 10 days ago, it was at 2 million. Another interesting thing to note is the number of Google searches for GameStop and the other meme stocks has gone down tremendously, and also the amount of media coverage on things like CNBC, CNN, MSNBC, Fox Business, that's also gone down a lot. And finally, the last chart we'll look at will be the AMC chart. We can see AMC has done a very similar pattern to GameStop, where they've been quite flat over the last 48 hours, and there hasn't been a whole lot of action. We saw a little bit of an uptick yesterday, but not too much. But the market just opened, and it opened at $8.45, which represents about a 5.7% loss from yesterday. So again, that's much lower than we've seen over the last week. It'll be interesting to see where things go from here. Stay tuned. Keep tuning back in. We'll continue to cover these things. And that does it for another episode of Cold Plunge every day until Bitcoin 50K. It's been another exciting week, and hopefully this price action continues so that we can all continue to make money. I've really enjoyed bringing you all the news, and if I missed anything, please leave a comment down below so that way I can address it and I can learn more and everyone else can learn more. After all, this is more of a conversation and it's a community, and we all want to get better and share information. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll see you back here tomorrow.